Good morning, traders. I'm excited to get into this market. It looks like we got ourselves an everything rally off that CPI. And of course, this is why a little part of me was talking about how NVIDIA was just hanging on. Now we get this uplift. I think if anybody was short, they're getting the squeeze put on them today. Let's find out if NVIDIA wants to make another move or maybe the Qs just completely rip. Or should we be looking at some smaller names? We'll find out right here on live trading, of course. And I got a swing trade on from yesterday. Moo on over because WBD up now almost 4%. Find out right here on live trading how much we get today. Let's find out.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Good morning, traders out there, and I see you guys, and yes, I will be bottom fishing with you guys. Don't worry about it, Robert. We'll take a little bit of some motion sickness pills, and we will get ready for that bottom fishing out there. Let me bring on my man, Ryan Faluna. Of course, you guys know him. We'll be taking a look into the markets and talking a little bit about what the action going on right now. Of course, CPI changing up everything today, and what does it do? Boom, comes in light. We went from 4.0 to 3.0. Man, dropped a full point on the year-to-year outlook. That's definitely playing a big effect on the market today. We will see what happens with that. But for right now, definitely seeing the upside action. Want to give you guys the recap of the Moo trade. Yesterday, we got in on WBD at 12.97. It's trading right now at 13.50s. And a big seller just sitting right there at the 1350s. So we'll look to see if we take them out at the gates. 10,000 shares sitting there. Going to look to see if we can get a little bit higher. Already up almost 4% on this position. And swing trading, baby, on the Moo account with a small amount, right? It doesn't need to be the biggest amount, but really nice trade there on Warner Brothers. We'll look to see if that keeps going. And this trade right there, if I can keep pushing, we're almost to the 600 spot. That's really where I've been trying to break. I've been in a little bit of a battle between the 570s and the 590s, really just trying to get back up above and give us into the 20%, right, returns for the account. That wouldn't be too bad. I mean, 20% since May. Can we really be upset about that? No, we can't be upset about that at all. Let's keep getting after it, team. We'll take a look at some different stocks out there, and we can take a look at my swing trades that I have also on my other account here. And there's only two right now that I'm keeping right now, and that's Deere and BJ. Deere already up there to 418. So what a move there on Deere. I have this from 401. We're almost to this box that I drawn from June 30th, which was that 420 run. Can we get it today? I'll definitely be looking to take a little bit more profits in Deere and see if we can get above the 420s and maybe even climb here towards like 430s. We'll see what happens there in Deere. Up about 18 points on the name. We'll see what happens there. BJ is another one that I'm looking to get into the gap. It's finally getting there. A big part of this for me, we'll see Costco continuing higher. We'll see if Walmart bounces back towards the upside. These are just names that I'm looking at. And I will be telling you guys, I did cut XOM yesterday. If you guys saw that on Start Swing Trade, I mentioned how this could flip back to the upside, and it's already pretty strong. We'll be looking for maybe oil names to the upside. Now kicking it to my man, Ryan. And of course, if you guys have stocks, this is your chance. Throw them up in the chat. We'll take a look at some stocks out there. How we doing, Ryan?
We're doing really good. I have a slightly different opinion of the CPI print. First of all, the one that I'm looking at is not the year-over-year print for June, but it's the core CPI year-over-year print. Remember, Fed's target here is 2%. We're 4.8% reading versus a 5% estimate, and the market's going bonkers. Just seems a little silly to me, but we'll see. You can't fight the market trend. And obviously, despite being bearish, the market has continued to move up. So I'm not going to fight it. Like Dave was saying earlier, if you believe their number, but whatever, let's trade it. And that's exactly the approach that I'm going to take here today, Dave. I definitely think the market is kind of bonkers right now, but This is the market that I'm being handed. So this is the hand that I am playing. And that's just how it goes, I'm afraid, when it comes to some of these numbers. So that takes care of the number. Let's take a look at the actual chart itself. The big thing here, we've talked a lot about this 444 level on the SPY. Well, today's candle has now busted through it. Let's see where we close. VIX getting melted down here to 14, a low print of 1401, currently at 1406. I expect that to go into a 13 handle once the market actually opens. I think this is going to be one of those days where we take a look at Mitch's wait till the reversal, 10:30, 10:15, 10:45, thereabouts. We'll see if we get a reversal. In the meantime, like I said, I'm not going to try and fight what the market is doing. Instead, I'm going to look for potential plays that we can play in the interim. And we do have a couple of things here that are going on. So let's take a look at some of them. First of all, we're going to start with Nightscope, because I know that there are a couple of traders in here trading it. This is now above $1, $1.21 here. This pre-market formation sure looks like it's going to try and take the top off here at $1.22 and go higher. We'll see if that ends up happening here on Nightscope. You folks that are in Nightscope, don't forget to pay yourself at some point here. Some new issues. One of the other ones, the big one that I'm sure everyone is looking at here, is going to be RXRX. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this, and I'm going to try to not be too verbose, but this is important. First of all, you can see here RXRX absolutely ripping. The stock closed around 680 yesterday. We traded up to 19 already here in the pre-market. We're currently holding right around VWAP levels at about 15.5. We did have a PR this morning at 8:30 Eastern. Recursion Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced a collaboration and a $50 million investment in NVIDIA. Now, this had all of the ingredients for a monster trade. Okay, this had all of them. You have a PR in the morning. You have a company that has a really low price. I don't think the share structure here, it's still on the bigger side at 113 million shares. And then you have this PR about AI involved in the medical space and a huge investment and this and that. I mean, this was, if you saw this PR hit the wire live, this is one that you just buy right away. I was actually working. I was actually busy aggregating a list of stocks that were moving today when this PR came out. By the time I came back, this thing was in a 14 handle off that humongous rip. It's worth noting that your entire year can be made off trades like this, but you have no chance at trading this successfully unless you buy it. Therein lies the problem, right? You get a PR here, the thing spikes up, you buy it. You don't know if it's going to just completely pull back or keep going. We don't have a functional crystal ball. We don't know where these are going, but this is a great example of a PR where you obviously buzzwords in there, take it and use your risk management to protect your account. This probably made a lot of people very, very, very happy this morning. So just something to consider here. Now that the initial move is gone, our job as traders is to find the next setup. Remember, if you miss something like this, there will always be something else around the corner. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but this is what the market does. So don't fret if you missed it. Figure out what caused it to move and then look for those signs in the future. As far as today's session goes, this might still be tradable. You can see here we went as high as about 19 bucks. We've pulled back down to 15. We're pretty much holding this VWAP. Let's see what happens when the market opens. No reason to necessarily buy this out the gate unless you really feel strongly about it. I want to see if this sets up. Maybe we make a move back towards those highs and punch those highs. When you get a PR like this, I would absolutely expect it to kind of overshoot where it actually should settle at. And again, therein lies the problem. I don't know what the stock is actually worth. I'm just trying to trade it based on the momentum that's going on here. So just keep that in mind. Market seems to be running on technicals. Follow the technicals and trade what you see in front of you. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I have no position. I'm not going to try to buy this right out of the gate. I want to see some other things here. One more stock that's not on the movers list that I want to mention is going to be POAI, and this is predictive oncology. You can see here we're popping up to 577, had a nice day. We're actually off this 480 level in a couple of sessions, and look at this. We're right up to this point here. If we flip over to the daily chart, the picture becomes a little bit more clear. Sure looks like we're trying to break out of this bottoming formation and move higher. Let's keep POAI on our list here, or at least on our watch list here today. I'll be looking for that break above 579. If we get volume, giddy up. We're in good shape there. Going back to the list here, let's take a look at some of these other smaller stocks. We have HCTI. This is Healthcare Triangle. They actually popped as high as 952. We've come back in here to a 6 handle. We're right below the VWAP. But this actually did have some news here this morning. Healthcare Triangle launches ransomware initiative aimed at protection and prevention of healthcare providers. So HCTI up 100% here. Again, let's follow the technicals. This is actually really extended. Let me see why my movers disappeared here. Sorry about that. I do have another one here. Let me go. Oh, it's shoot. Sorry, there's so many tickers, I actually forgot them. Let me go back in here. CVKD is another one. That's right. And AULT and AVRO. Okay, so let's do CVKD. This is Cardinal Therapeutics here. I don't really see a PR, but this started moving in the after hours session yesterday. We had some big moves here. Now we are bleeding back here. So what we really want to do is we want to have this chart actually bottom. We want to find that intraday bottom. Then we can attempt to trade the curl ups back towards positive, or in this case, back towards the VWAP. We'll see if we end up getting there. AULT, thank you, movers, for populating again. AULT, this is another stock that had a really, really huge move, went as high as 890. We've really bled those gains back. So the same strategy applies here. We want to make sure the chart bottoms before we actually find our entry. Catalyst here is Alt Alliance shares are trading higher after the company said it anticipates 200 million in annual revenue for 2023. So giving you a little bit of revenue anticipation there. We'll see if that ends up materializing. Pretty big pop here. Let's wait for this chart to bottom, though. Let's not try to catch falling knives, at least not early. Next one here is going to be AVRO, and this is AvraBio. And again, this was pretty much a penny stock, 99 cents, right at that dollar level. Popped as high here as 139, and we've kind of come back in towards this VWAP. Let's see if we actually hold this VWAP and then maybe again get a curl towards the highs. Maybe a break of those highs would help send the stock. So AVRO also going to be on the list here. Zachary, I was hoping that a couple of people were going to come up with this here today. RX sympathy plays. Let's go ahead and check them out here real quick until Mitch gets back. You mentioned EXAI. I'm actually not familiar with any of these companies. So, definitely do your due diligence. Zachary, I really appreciate you bringing this to the table. These are the exact types of things we want to see, right? We see a stock move on some issue. What other stocks might be next to move? Now, it does look like EXAI is traded up here. We were at about 650 handle yesterday, 775 here today. And this popped here real quick. Jay Rice, this is hilarious. Kathy bought 360,000 shares of RX on 623. She's back. I noticed that too. I actually had someone said that she added a little yesterday, which seems like somebody knew what was going on there. Anyway, EXAI, this is absolutely worth watching. Let's do SDGR. This is Schrodinger. We've actually talked about this one here before. This also popping here this morning. Zachary, these all look pretty good so far. QSI, that's Quantum Sci. This also popping here. This one a little bit smaller of a price tag on that. So let's see if we get some more trades out of this one. Okay, CXAI, Crow, you're taking a look at CXAI. Let's take a look at that. Let's pull that up here. You were saying that the 4-hour chart is primed. Okay, I don't think I have oh, yeah, I do. Let's go. Here's your 4-hour chart. So I think what Crow's looking at here is he's looking at this big pop, and then he's looking at this flag, and he's hoping or expecting this stock to kind of curl, break out of this formation, and really give us a trade. We'll see if that materializes. CXAI on the list. All right, we are open, folks. Let's do it. Let me flip over to my main scanner here. Hopefully Mitch gets back. Enable flight mode. Okay, there we go. CVKD, first move here is down. Let's take a look at RX. So let me get SPY off here. That doesn't help anybody right now. RX. Let's see. First move, maybe back towards the VWAP. I'm going to wait this one out. This one crazy. I'm looking at the level 2 here. It's moving around like crazy, and it's spread at least 10 cents. Yeah. And Jay, one more thing. Yeah, I was actually going to mention this, but I got sidetracked with the bell ringing here. SDGR been talking for a few weeks. Lots of call buying the last few weeks. So Zachary, one of those sympathy plays that you listed, Jay here has been telling us about SDGR for a while, also adding a little bit to that, some call buyer. Those call buyers probably pretty happy here today. By the way, POAI right out of the gate here, right up to 592. There's 6. So POAI going here. Didn't really find any entry point there for myself to move really, really quickly. But yeah, POAI moving here. Smoke Tuna mentioning mob. I'm just trying to go through a bunch of these while I'm not taking a trade right away. MOB, this looks like this is curling back up. Let's see if we can actually take out some of these other highs. I want to be careful with
Where's the mob? Where's the mob?
Dave in MVIS at 447. What are you seeing here, Dave?
Oof. Oil up right out the gates, looking for pullbacks on oil to maybe play gush today. I like Meta. Meta yesterday. Who talked about Meta going to 300 yesterday? Of course, I got you guys, my friend. Sometimes I see it. Sometimes I see it. Meta pulling back a little bit here out the gates. They're already jumping there to 303s. I'm keeping a close eye on it here on the pullback, but we'll see what happens today. Will the bigger stocks get the lift or not? That's something to keep an eye out for, right? WBD right out the gates, took out that 10,000 seller, just keeping an eye on it. I'm up about $11 now. Want to see if we can get to 14. If we can get to 14 today, or maybe even like, let's say 1370s, man, I'll take it all and run. That won't be bad at all. Remember, I even set a stop yesterday that put this risk on this trade at 0 cents. There was not even a risk on this trade. So there you go. We'll see what happens there on WBD if it can keep riding higher. STLD giving me an alert today. I'm looking for steel plays to see if maybe they can get an uplift here. Is X trying to give it to me today? We'll find out, guys. We'll find out.
Would it be a regular day if X wasn't trying to give it to Mitch? That's really the question.
It's been some time that I haven't played it in a little while, Ryan. So I'm looking for it. BTU is also on my radar today. With energy coming back up and oil coming back up, look for coal maybe to get hot. So I'm looking for BTU to continue today. I'll be looking for pullbacks to get into stocks like that. All right, let's get to my other charts here. Got to go ahead and set them up here.
Roku, good call there from Laura. Roku making more highs. Remember, we've had a couple of strong days here in Roku. A couple of you guys were talking about it yesterday. Another strong morning here from Roku right out of the gate. Looks like Joby's up too. I'd be interested to see if Archer's up along with that. Dave asking, how low does RX go? That's a good question, Dave. And that's it. You're asking the real question here on why I'm saying let's wait this out. Let's not try and just buy it right away. Let's see if it settles, because I have no idea if it pulls back how low it could actually go.
All right, looking for pullbacks in BTU here. Get my other screen set up here. There's so much going on, man.
Dave, by the way, ELOX, this had a monster day yesterday. Let's see if this ends up going here today. Dave, honestly, the best setup that I see here is your Mevis trade so far. Best trade I see so far is your Mevis trade. Craig, nice to meet you. We have a little special guest that's going to be joining us a little bit later. Craig saying FRLN into a halt here. FRLN, this is another good call. Nice job, Craig. 450 looks to be the spot to take off if we can do that. Had a fairly decent day yesterday. Let's see what the volume is like here on this one. This one kind of thin, isn't it? Only 4 million shares here. This one could be a wild one. Let's see what this does out of the halt. Nice spot, Craig.
All right, BTU not coming to the VWAP there, so I'm waiting to see if it can come to the VWAP so I can take that shot. X holding also above VWAP, looking for a 25 pullback on X.
AULT halted to the downside, so that one's kind of weak.
You guys, I love the chat mentioning names.
The
That's
chat's
what it's
all
all
over.
about. Smash them up out there, team.
I don't even need my scanner today, Mitch. The chat's doing the work
chat
for me.
is the scanner for us, man.
Let's go, folks.
We don't even need the scanners, man. That's how good you guys are out there. That's what I like to hear. And at the end of the day, supporting each other, right? By helping name those names, because you never know when someone might have been thinking about a stock, then you mention it. You're not telling them to trade it, but you're telling them, hey, look at this. And then they can go ahead and make their decision. They can, a lot of the times, I sometimes even thank our viewers because I'm like, man, this is one that I was watching for. Thank you for alerting me it and being able to get after it.
DNA, by the way, going to highs here. DNA, that was one. I think Carmen was talking about that here this morning. Dave Mevis pulling back here a little bit.
Sorry about the massive typing in the background, guys. I'm just dealing with some work stuff at the same time.
All good. Night scope up at 130 here now. INMD, remember this was a Jason Raznick pick. He actually came on this show and gave you this pick at 36. I stupidly didn't take it. INMD reporting good earnings here this morning, popping 43 handle now on INMD. If we take a look at the daily chart, this is a look at this daily chart here. I'm still kind of thinking about swinging this. Look at this daily chart. Nice little breakout out of this formation. This looks like it wants higher for sure. Mitch, I'm going to step away for a sec. It's already getting hot here in Chicagoland. I got to turn my air conditioning on.
You're good, my friend. I'm looking for trades out here. I'm looking to get into BTU, but still haven't gotten a pullback to the VWAP. Looking for a pullback to the VWAP. Q's going lower here on a little bit of pullbacks. I'm looking for pullback to get in on stocks because they've already gone a little bit too high for me. We got an attempt to the support earlier on NVIDIA. I really like this pullback here. Off the 430s, but I want to see it maybe make an attempt to 429 and then come back first. So I'm going to leave it that time versus the VWAP right now, but there is a VWAP attempt here on NVIDIA. We'll see what happens to that one. That one looking interesting here. If I look at WBD, that's going higher. I'm just trying to continue working the profits in that trade. What does it mean? That means just continuing to ride with the green, right? I'll try to continue to ride with that green. Let's go to what's performing today. A lot of green, of course. Best performing areas, LiDAR concepts, Luminar Technologies. I talked about that one before the open on pre-market prep. It's already up there from 755s towards 785s. This has been going strong. QS, also my swing trade. That one's been strong. This one just pulled back to 1022s. Actually looking pretty interesting here on QS as it's been hot as of late, but we'll see if these ever turn around. These have been really strong moves in QS. All right, we're getting some pullback action here. Be careful out there, team. I'm still looking for pullback in BTU. It's already going higher, not giving me that VWAP attempt. I'll be patient for it. Open, I talked about that yesterday. That was strong. It's actually pulling back significantly here out the gates. We'll see what happens there. And we'll see on this pullback if we can catch some support and the Qs go higher.
Smoked Tuna with an absolutely monster call already here today. Who's surprised? Nobody is the correct answer. Smoked Tuna, nice shout here, just shy of 7 on HCTI. That was one of the stocks from the list here today. Nice. We busted through that VWAP on the expanding volume that we're looking for, going higher here. Next spot here, 849. No position for me in HCTI.
So that's a really nice flag formation with a rule of 3. I don't even need to look to know that that did the rule of 3. Like I haven't even tried to count it, but I can just automatically see that. And so really nice flag pattern that you found there, Smoked Tuna. So one thing that I would look at is writing this pattern down and maybe looking for stocks that do this repeatedly. And I love a stock like this that gives you a pullback before the open versus the pullback at the open. Because what does that do? That's low liquidity on the pullback, and liquidity could come back into the stock at the open. That's a nice one there at
Yeah,
HCTI.
that was
I
a
really
really
like that
nice one.
flag.
I should have followed Smoke Tuna in on
Yeah,
that.
you see the flag action there. I drew it there so you guys could see that flag action. That's pretty right there. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't see that one, but pretty nice one there. Be careful with Bitcoin miners extending and rolling over. Let's take a look at that. Mara coming back down right now. Riot also right now at the VWAP. We'll look to see if that one goes higher through the 18s or not, or does it just reject back down here? It has made a huge climb. I mean, that's kind of blow off toppy. So we'll see if it can hold 18s today. That's one thing that I'll keep a close eye off of because that does look like a little bit of a blow off top. We'll see if it can hold there.
AULT halted up. Nice shot, Michael. Mevis from Dave's trade back at that 450 level. AULT, we've had 2 halts in this already here today. So I don't necessarily want to trade halt fest, just something to keep in mind. RX in a 12 handle now.
WBD actually pulling back now. It just dropped into the 1340s, so it might just take the profits and run in that trade, but just trying to be smart and slow to that. If it can continue holding trend, not break yesterday's resistance. So yesterday's resistance being the 1334 area. Next layer below that is where I'm going to probably set a stop right now, 1323s.
Jay, congratulations on that trade in the INMD. 45 calls 20 cents to $1.50. That's some good profit right there. Let's go. HCTI looking like it might go even higher here.
All right, so regardless of whatever happens on WBD, I'm going to be in the green here, and that's what it's all about, right? On that, so that's the Moo trade here, and of course, I already set the stop there. So now stops place, regardless, will be a win. That's at the 1325s, but I'm really looking for this to keep going.
HCTI going to be halted here if it holds at 870 on HCTI. Smoke Tuna, you have wrangled one today. HCTI halted. By the way, Smoke Tuna giving you another play here prior to it happening, waiting for a bounce on RX at 1140. So let's giving you a bounce spot right there. Let's see if that materializes. Smoke Tuna, great job on HCTI this morning.
All right, getting pullback action here in BTU. I'll look to see if it gets back above the 2243s. That's going to be a good outlook here, but I'm looking for pullbacks to start getting in on BTU. All right, let's see this. How's the fill there? How's the orders? 2214s, bigger order there.
Dave, the more I watch Mevis, I'm just seeking to understand here is a term Jason uses all the time. This wasn't on my scanner, so I actually didn't see it. I know that we were up a little bit, but it wasn't a tremendous amount. And we didn't necessarily have a news item this morning. So 450, the more I watch this, the more 450 is absolutely the spot here. And I think that if we're able to break this again to the upside, it should be stronger on its attempt through 455. What I'd like to know is, how did you identify Mevis? Because I think that you found one here. 450's up again on Mevis.
Well, so Mevis is running with the battery tray, right? It's microvision, right? And so I think that's also making a move also with like that QS and different stocks that are being affected in microvision. LAZR also getting a lift today. You can be looking at that AUR to continue lifting maybe today also. So I think that's a theme style play also. Solid state battery. So Quantum Safe has been doing really well. So solid state battery, I think is a good one there. That's the story of it. But of course, you could have found it a different way, right? I think that's the story in the market right now. You guys know I'm always about stories. So trying to find those relationships and know what the story could be there is very important. Why did solid state batteries get a lift? It was all on the mentions from Toyota Motors saying that they would move to that type of technology in their battery play. And of course, they could be looking at partnerships with certain companies here in solid state batteries. If they're mentioning solid state batteries, it's probably not 100% their technology that they're looking at. They're probably also looking to kind of collaborate with others to try to get those vehicles into some really good solid state batteries.
Okay, and Dave, appreciate the color here. Mitch, looks like you hit some of it right on the head there. Low volume, but a great setup. Money, Mitch said it also had one pop yesterday, usually good for a second run. Dave, thank you for helping us understand the trading plan. Let's see if that one works out. For me, 450 break to the upside, a 441 snap to the downside. Got to re-wait for a setup on MVIS.
I like it too, because you do have that left outlook, right? And we all know how traders look to the left and start thinking of what could happen here, right? Oh, it could get to 5, it could get to 7, right? So yeah, the FOMO is going to be here to jump in this. And look at the move that QS put. I was buying it down here at 7 when it was retracing, when Toyota mentioned it and it was pulling back on that mention. I was like, all right, you're going to give me that pullback on a good mention about the company? I'll buy that up. I bought that up and had an average at 695s. I sold it up here towards 8 and 850s, but man, it's already run to 10, right? This could pull back today though. Just be careful. You can see it pulling back right now at 10. It needs to hold this support.
Amy, really quick, your screens are blurry when I expand to full view on my iPhone. Amy, you probably have to set your resolution manually away from auto to source on YouTube.
Be careful with that.
Should clean up the screens. We are broadcasting in 1080p.
Yeah, we try to get you guys the best quality we could get you guys, like always. We can't do 4K yet, but we're getting there. Kashkari speaking, says Walter, thanks for the mention there, and we'll definitely look at Benzinga Pro to see if we catch a mention in Benzinga Pro, of course.
Let's see if RX bounces here. It did trade down to 11. Looks like 11 was the low print, or 1099. We're already back at 1150 here. This one still a little risky. Just be really careful, but a nice bounce already here. Smoke Tuna, you are locked in this morning. Locked in right now.
Taking a starter position there in BTU, already getting in there at 2244. Got a little bit of a bad fill there, so we'll look to see if it goes a little bit higher here. It already pulled back on me, so it's down at 40s. Just looking for it to try to recover VWAP here and get right back above.
By the way, HCTI open now and moving higher, absolutely ripping higher here. HCTI looking for a 10 print. Crow, did you just call that HCTI? We'll cut it 10 on the open, in my opinion. Looks like it's going to get halted here at 987. Halt at 987 if this holds. We are halted. Man, you guys cutting here. Crow, I love that. I love that you cut right before the halt. I hate halts. This already had one. We're doing it again. Love it. Great trade, folks.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a great job.
On my account, this is the third halt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Third halt. In fact, Benzinga Pro counter here, getting that third halt. I just simply misread it.
There you go. And I think that's a very important halt to get out before, right, Ryan? You and I talk about this all the time. Yep. Statistically, that third halt sometimes brings a down halt right after it. And so a lot of times it's very hard to get out after that third halt. And I'm always in the occurrence that if I get halted once, it's okay. Second, it's okay. I want to get out before the third halt. But hey, that's just what I've seen in the past. And we're talking about historical reference, not necessarily this stock. But we'll see what happens with HCTI. Really good outlook mentioned in the chat today. Love the outlook there, team. And if you also look on this stock, what could you have looked at for that kind of wick action on the pullback at the open? Well, look at prior resistance becoming support. We talk about this all the time, team. I'm going to show you guys it right here, front and center. Look how the pre-market resistance right around the 580 area became the support on that pullback. It went right to 581. That's how we use support. Prior resistance becomes support in this case. And you can go ahead and use that and then maybe risk off the next layer of support. Next layer of support being down to the 523 areas. So maybe you're understanding, okay, so I'm getting about 60 cent risk here. What can I look for the reward? 60 cents to me times 3. I'd be looking at $1.80 for the plus side. That's a move right back to the resistance and a little bit above, right towards that 789s. I'd be already to be happy with $8. Nice move there, guys. Good catch.
Yeah, really impressed with the chat. But I mean, we're impressed every day. I guess I shouldn't. I guess it should just be normal now. Folks are absolutely destroying it. And RXRX looks like that was another good call in terms of the bottom here. 1140 smoke tuna. You were off by 40 cents on a stock that is up nearly 100% and is above $10. That is magnificent.
Doing good, man.
Ron in here already at his daily goal. Absolutely love it. Great job, Ron. Got a nice little move on that CPI this morning. Bang.
A little underwater here in BTU, trying to manage it. I jumped in a little bit too quickly with my sizing. Should have sized into it versus just jumping in with one buy there. And I can clearly tell that as in a little bit more experience on my side. I normally try to go in with a little bit smaller size first and add to the position.
Anyone else dealing with FOMO on RXRX like I am?
RX, I'll take a look at that.
Well, it's the spreads tightened up, which makes it a lot better.
So I'd look for it to come back to prior daily resistance. Daily resistance at like 1023s. So look on the daily. You can see these levels on the daily where you got closes at like you got that open action. It's around like 1019, and then you got a resistance there at 1023s. That's my area for pullback if you're looking for that extreme pullback outlook. But it's already at 1187, so I don't know if you're going to be able to get that. It's a hard pullback though on RXRX. All right, let's take a look around. What is going on in the market right now? The Qs are going a little bit higher. They made a move to 373s, but it's not a rip higher. And so that's one thing to keep an eye out for. NVIDIA, though, did make that pullback to 430s. That was a really nice outlook I talked about earlier today. That's doing well. I know that some people were looking at NVIDIA, and I'm looking for that to maybe even make a move to 440s today. Look how that already made that move. I talked about it in pre-market. Would we get that 440 run? It's holding strong. Meta holding strong also here, and that one doesn't look too bad. Talked about pullbacks 300. Look where it went to 310 on the 5-minute pullback. This is looking good for having a good day. And Threads continues to grow in user base. I think Meta has chances to continue to the upside. Netflix is one that I want to keep an eye out for. This has pulled back out the gates, even though it got an upgrade today, an upgrade on the price target, coming back there towards prior resistance in the pre-market. Now let's see if that access support 440s and it starts to work its way back on Netflix. Not a bad one here. If I can get the pullback back into the 440 50s area.
RXRX trying to take 12. By the way, Mevis broke that 450 and they brought a bid in under it. Dave, you might be onto something there. Long some at 450 on Mevis.
There you go. Like the outlook.
Look, when our chat's hot, our chat's hot.
It's not a bad one to keep an eye out for. QuantumScape bouncing back to 1025. So we'll look to see if that one gets right back up. It's holding the 10s, and we'll see if it stays strong. Roku pulling back a little bit here. Now starting to get back to the upside. We'll see if the Qs and some of the major stocks really take over here. Qs trying to push to the upside here. So that looks good for the market. Apple pushed up right out the gates there. Microsoft pushed up right out the gates. Google staying strong. It looks like a strong day right out the gates here. We'll look at Tesla recovers.
Big tennis match starting here pretty soon. The American kid Eubanks going up against Daniil Medvedev for all you tennis fans out there.
You tennis fans out there. All right, we'll see what's going on out there, team. I'm looking around. What's up? You see a good entry for AAL? Paul C is asking about. Well, I can't tell you where a good entry, but I'll tell you what. I'll always be looking for pullbacks in the airlines. Airlines are pulling back right now. if I'd be looking for pullbacks, they'd have to look for a little bit more extreme. I'd be looking at closer towards 1680s, 17s on pullbacks, and that's off the weeklies. So I'll give you a real quick look at that. That's the weekly level here. So I can quickly look at where's resistance on the weekly level. That's around 17s. I see the 9 moving average there around 1676. So somewhere between there, I'd be looking for pullbacks on AAL. Not having a good day there in BTU. We'll look to see if that goes higher, but definitely getting hit right now at the gates. We'll see if that goes lower through the 2228s level. That's going to stop me out there, but the Qs are staying strong here. We'll see if those keep going to the upside. Meta looking still strong. Adobe's one that's actually in the red right now, but I talked about this one getting back to 500s. Look where it's at. 502s, 510s that it recently ran. This one's still looking strong there. What about Oracle? We talked about that one yesterday at 114, guys. And man, I'm a little frustrated. I sold this one on the swing trade yesterday, and it's already up there now to 117. This was a really nice swing trade outlook. Horrible execution on my end. Nice gap below. It's strong today. Could keep moving. All right, let's get back to the charts here. Let's see what we can get into today. Strong day today for sure. Netflix is one I'm watching right now. It just made a little bit of a jump, now pulling back towards this 441 area. We'll look to see if it holds this, but it's looking pretty good.
RX pulling back off that bounce. Dave, your strategy here, stop on low of day. So if this breaks 11, you're going to be out, but you're hoping for another bounce here, I think.
Real quick, Netflix. I'm trying to maybe get in here, but spread is wide, man. It's hard to get into Netflix.
Is Netflix in your Moomoo account?
No, I'm trying to get it in the prop right now. I'm trying to set up the trade, but the thing is, it's just so spready, guys. It's already making the move. I struggle on names like this that have such a wide spread here. And you can see the spread. I'll show you guys it. You can see it on my chart there. It says 442 by 441. So you're talking about 30-40 cent spread there in Netflix. I almost bought it there at 441.50s, just hesitated, and it's already up there at like what, 50 cents, almost $1. And so I was looking for this recovery move because it did get an upgrade and it pulled back towards yesterday's or prior's actions kind of resistance, now acting as supporter at 441. I'll look to see if it comes back up. It looks strong right now. How the solar names doing today? Pretty sure they probably could have a nice little lift today. I'm looking at them. EMPH lifting strong. FSLR might be even getting a lift here. It's right off the VWAP. That doesn't look too bad here. I kind of like FSLR. I like the chart. Let's look at First Solar here. Off 192s. Spread's a little wide there. I'm trying to grab it here below 192.50s on First Solar here. Come on, give me a little drip. Just looking for the offer to get off a little bit here towards like the 40s, and then I'll just hit the buy. Come on. Man, stocks are just jumping away from my orders. It just happens right there on First Solar. It's already up there to 192.80s. So I might just have to start jumping on offers, but that looks good there on First Solar. Looking for some solar stocks to get the lift today. EMPH, SEDG, stocks like that. We'll see what happens. All right, what's going on out there, guys? Dollar testing support. We'll take a look at that.
Still watching RX here. I like Dave's trade plan on this lot.
A little frustrating on that First Solar not being able to get in there. So I'll look for some pullback entry here, but no pullback just yet. Warner Brothers coming back down, almost stopping me out here, guys. I might get out there, I might get triggered out, but of course, it won't cost a day trade, so that's pretty good on the Moomoo account. That's what I've been trying to do a little bit more of. If I can keep my day trades for kind of more when I need them, I can keep trading a little bit more and be a little bit more active.
I like to use my day trades in my smaller account defensively as opposed to
Exactly.
offensively. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that. That's going to help us out for sure. I like Sun Power's pullback also. It doesn't look too bad there, but it needs to just recover VWAP later in the day. Maybe make an attempt here to 10 and give you guys like a double, triple bottom look. I'll see what happens there on Sun Power.
RX making a bounce towards 12 here. See if RX goes through 12 here. Dave, I think if this goes through 12, VWAP is possible. By the way, VWAP at 13.5. Here's 12 up on RX. Still struggling with that level. All right, folks, I want to take this time here to bring on a new member of our team. It's going to be Craig. You saw him in the chat. Craig, welcome. How are you doing today, my man?
Thank you for bringing me upon it. I'm doing great. Awesome trades today so far. How are you guys doing?
Doing really. Is our chat community not the best damn community you've ever seen?
It definitely is. I love.
I
our
literally
Benzinga
didn't even need scanners today.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And even in our Benzinga platform chat, they're calling out the same exact stocks, which is just amazing.
Yep. So, Craig, why don't you tell viewers what you're doing here and what they can expect from you, especially on the live trading show.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to be starting a little bit more regularly starting August 1st. What I'm going to be able to do is kind of hone in on my particular strategy. I'm a small caps day trader. I mainly focus on things with lower floats, mainly things below 20 million, but at certain times I'll focus on stocks like RX if that's the most obvious stock in the market. So that's mainly what I'm focusing on. I look for very basic setups. My mantra is, how simple can you make this be? I don't want to overcomplicate it. I don't want thousands of indicators, right? We want to see basic setups that everybody's going to be able to pay attention to and capitalize on those setups. And that's kind of how I trade. So bull flags, wedge patterns, VWAP bounces, 9 EMA bounces, paying attention to the 200 EMA on the daily chart, and daily, regular daily support levels, also as indicators of when to get in, as triggers, and when to get out.
Okay. Awesome, man. I mean, that really speaks to me. I also like to day trade some of these small caps like we're trading here today. Really exciting to add you to the team here. I know one of the things that we want to do here is continually bring on new ideas and idea generation. So Craig, cannot thank you enough for coming on. Folks, if you want to talk to Craig, he is going to be more active here. So don't be afraid to reach out. Craig works on our onboarding team, uses Benzinga Pro to trade, and sounds like a really, really good fit to me, Craig.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for bringing me on board. Yeah, for those of you that are members here, we're going to offer a discount to come onto the Benzinga platform. We're going to have a link set up for you guys by the time that I am going to be on this regularly. But for the short term, for those of you that want to be able to reach out, you could send a quick text saying YouTube to number 313-960-4751, and I can give you guys an exclusive discount for members that watch this YouTube channel to make sure that you guys are getting the best possible price to come in and experience the same platform that Ryan is showing on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is something that Mitch and I have wanted to do. We've really wanted to come up with a way to reward our viewerships. There's only so many things we can control, but Benzinga Pro is a great way to start that. So that sounds really awesome, Craig.
Awesome.
Really can't wait. And if you want to join our community here and throw out any ideas or things that you're watching here today, please be my guest. We're always looking for bolstering the community. By the way, really quickly before you go ahead with that, just a couple of updates here. AULT again looks like this is halted, so we have multiple halts here. This is still kind of chopping around, and HCTI also having multiple halts here. It looks like this is open now, but this is coming back in towards the VWAP. So
awesome. Yeah, for those of you that do want to reach out, I'll put something in the comments for you guys to be able to utilize now. But when I come on full time, you'll see everything on
Amazing.
the show, and I'll be able to pinpoint some of the things that I'm looking at and contribute that way, especially for the small cap side. So for those of you that like to focus on that side, we'll be able to contribute there.
Okay, amazing. And one of the other things, I'm not a huge low float trader. Mitch will do it, but it's not part of his primary. Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, but low float is not part of your primary focus.
Yeah, it's not my primary. I try to focus more on what rotation is hot right now. Like right now, leading the market is what energy from the open and financial services. So, and then I have basic materials. So, what am I in right now? I'm in basic materials, and I'm in First Solar, which is a hot area right now. Which solar stocks are up in technology, and what's leading technology to the upside? Well, you got semiconductors, you got health information, but also solar really starting to get a lift with some of the stocks right now, leading to the upside. You got kind of Sun W, which is a cheaper name, but First Solar starting to get going, and pretty much all green from the open there. I'm trying to catch some solar names.
All right, that sounds awesome, Craig. It sounds like you're going to be a really great fit with you focusing on some of the smaller float names, whereas Mitch and I don't do that. So again, trying to cover this from all angles. So really, really appreciate it here.
Yeah, and definitely feel free to reach out in the comments if you guys have any questions on Pro. I'm sure he'll catch them for you guys too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you guys have questions, just ask them now. I'm happy to answer that. And then I'm going to make this a quick little introduction here today. So I'll hop off relatively quickly, but you can expect me to be on a little bit longer once I start. Okay. So we're looking at LPSN. Let me pull that up real quick.
So one of the things here really quickly while Craig's going ahead and charting that, LPSN live person announces a planned CEO transition. So we did get that PR here this morning. Now it's up 31% here on that. We have pulled off the highs here. We are below VWAP. So we definitely want to hold some of these lower levels here on LPSN. Who was that was asking about that? That was Richard, excuse me.
All right. So me just looking at the chart, the charts that I mainly focus on are going to be the 5 and the 1 minute chart, along with the daily. Looking at the 5 minute chart, I see that there's a few topping tails, which tells me that this is already made on the back side of the move. So since we have already made, the front side of the move, I don't see anything right now that would make me want to take a trade on this unless it can recover to that near the all-time highs of today of 640.
Yeah, so, and this is what, Craig, one of the things that you're going to hear me say on the show quite a bit is we're going to wait for the stock to set up. That's kind of where we're at here, right? We are on the backside of this up move, but that doesn't mean that it's done, right? This could very easily set up. We can move through the VWAP again on expanding volume. Those would be some of the things we're looking for a potential entry trigger.
Exactly. And yeah, just what I've seen in the recent trends, we're not going to see that anytime soon, just based on how the chart is currently figured. If you see those big red candles, and then what I look at is if you see that last green candle, that's a topping tail. So
right
or
here,
you can call it a shooting star, whatever you want to call it. I use those interchangeably, and that's telling me that the sellers are in control now. So that's not something we want to particularly trade.
All right, chat is talking about HCTI, which I've taken off my screen here. HTCI, wow, Crow, you're absolutely right. This came right back into the VWAP, bounced cleanly off the VWAP. Let's see if it does take out those highs. I have a high print here of 1088 on HCTI, 1088, your day high there.
All right, guys, I got about 30 shares now of FSLR 192.16. It's at 192.51. I'll look to see if that could take to the upside here. And I'll show you guys that chart. That's the big one here. We'll look to see if it gets towards 194, get to the upside move. I also like to see AMPH maybe catch the VWAP here to 182. Not a bad one to kind of keep an eye out for. Solar names. We'll see what they get the lift. Dun, dun, dun. AMD 115 now. I see you mentioned in the chat. WBD pulling back. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the Explore tab. Let's catch some other names out there. NASDAQ going to new highs. S&P 500 new highs. And so, yeah, those names that have been squeezing could keep running. Carvana, Upstart, a lot of those. Beyond Meat had good news today. That's pulled back, has multiple supports now. We'll look to see if it gets back above 16 here and makes a little bit of a push. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll look to see if it gets back above 16. What about Upstart? Upstart, not a bad one. Also now starting to come back. Seems like those names that have pulled back now starting to get a little bit of a lift. Even Affirm's been going sideways from the open, but has pulled back on the 15-minute chart. It looks really clean here. We'll look to see if it breaks above the 17s and gives you that next lift. Affirm looking interesting there.
Can't believe I'm hearing you say that, but here we are.
Yeah, I've changed my mind, man, and I feel like we can't be looking at these stocks as zeros because the truth is, the story is a zero, but the truth is that doesn't matter. What matters is the markets have changed. We're in kind of now bull market territories, and in bull markets, stocks like this, they don't disappear. They start getting focused for future earnings, and that's what I think you're going to start seeing. And sometimes we can give really lofty outlooks in the future, right? And so I would be careful with names like this. Another thing to look at the decliners today. What decliners, right? Look at the red here on Moomoo. There is no decliners. I mean, there's 1,585, but look at what's in the zero, neutral, 6,100, and then in the green, 6,800. So that just tells me, right? Stocks are neutral or green today. And so with that being said, if I'm playing downside on a day like today, I'm probably just not doing it right. And that's where I got to be smart with that. Doesn't mean that you are doing it wrong out there, but my outlook there is I have to see some red to be trading red. Right now, I'm not seeing it.
HCTI knifed into a halt.
Yep.
All right, I'll put that chart up there for you. Boom, boom. HCTI and a down halt, right? Who's talking about that potentially down halts after the third halt?
That was you. That was.
You got to be careful about
like
that, man. It's not even like a book. It's patterns, right? And that's what Ryan and I talk about there. It's more of a pattern. After the third halt, very rarely do stocks keep going. You do see it sometimes on stocks that are just going completely bonkers, but man, I'll tell you, after that third halt, I've seen it. You can get that pop, but look how quickly that turned around. Imagine if you bought like 10 80s there or 10 like 75 there. You get wiped out real quick. So be careful, traders that are trading stocks like this. That's how you blow an account, by buying the high.
Yep. And the last word of advice before I get out of here that I could say for that is trade the front side of the move. If you weren't already green on this, you should not be taking any trades after the second halt. You should be green early. And if you want to take a risk, do it with smaller size. So that way, if this does happen to you, you're not risking what you've already gained. Keep what you make in your pocket.
Yeah, that's a really good call, Craig. That's actually one of the things that I do. If I trade something for a second time, I inevitably reduce my position size. That really helps me keep some of my profits if my second trade doesn't work.
Yeah. So with that, guys, I appreciate you guys welcoming me onto the show. I'll be back on a weekly basis until August, and then we'll be going a little bit more full steam. But for those of you that want to take advantage of the Benzinga discount, get on it with Ryan, myself, and Mitch. You can just, again, shoot me a quick text. My number is 313-960-4751. That's my direct line. Just text YouTube to that number, and I'd be happy to give you guys the best discount that we have out right now.
Amazing, Craig. And I see you're a big Ravens fan with the Ray Lewis jersey back there.
I see it.
Absolutely.
That's a nice jersey you got there, man. That's a nice jersey.
Got it the night that I met him. But thank you guys very much, and I'll see you guys all very soon.
You're welcome, Craig. Take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
Have a good one, Craig. All right, let's keep it going. What are we seeing in the market? Looks like you're looking at the AUR. I was talking about that earlier, that it could keep going as LAZR keeps going. And look at LAZR up there to $8 now. AUR up there. And it's a theme approach, right? Sometimes it's just, we got to be looking at those relationships. That's looking good there. First solar now deeper into the green, now towards 193. He's going to see if it could take off here. It's looking good right now.
RX breaking down now here, going into the 10 handle. So there you are. Bang, 1075 there. A big move down here in RX. Wonder if this bounces here. What do you guys think? We just bought a big seller up down there. Richard Judge, your 1075 spot looked to be pretty good. You're bouncing 30 cents already here. Dave saying, yeah, just a shakeout down to 11 here. Dave, I think this is one of the reasons why you said you were giving it a little bit more room under 11, right? You were thinking about a potential shakeout and you didn't necessarily want to be shaken from that move. This will be really interesting for the rest of the day to see if RXRX can actually go higher from this. That to me is curious. The reason I brought AUR up, by the way, this is a nice breakout. We were talking about this, and then that we curled up and actually broke out of that. So
Oracle ripping higher, man. This was a really good swing trade outlook. Just bad execution on my part yesterday. Got out of there a little bit too early. And look at the Oracle run now. This is from 414s yesterday, already to 117s. A really nice looking chart now as it starts going towards the trend line. Where can we see resistance? Right above here, coming in towards like maybe 118s. But man, 118s from 114 and just overnight action. That's not looking too bad there on Oracle. Good day there. Yeah, Sal, it happens sometimes, man, and don't worry about it. We'll be here for you tomorrow, and guess what? The great traders in this room will also be here for you tomorrow, so stick around like always, guys. You guys smash the like. I hope you guys enjoy our stream here on Benzinga, of course, and definitely hit the share button. We need some more people in here. We need to grow this community with traders that, actually support each other. Could that be a community that supports each other? That's what we're about here at Benzinga. That's why we do this show. It's not necessarily for Ryan and I to get rich. I mean, we wouldn't mind that, but
I mean, everyone in here wouldn't mind that. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest here. Everyone in this room is here to increase their wealth. We're going to use a community angle in order to do that. It's not about one of us. It's about all of us.
Definitely. That's what it's all about. And I'd love to see you guys doing well in the chat. There's days where I do bad, but I see you guys doing well in the chat. And to tell you the truth, that helps me keep going.
And we've got a number of our chatters seeing the exact same thing. Smoke Tuna, Crow, Wiss, all on the FRLN move up here through the VWAP. Decent volume pop. We are halted to the upside here on FRLN. I'm sorry, K-Chat. The other thing, I have no position in this. I am going to watch this on the reopen. We'll see what happens. No position here, but great call by the chat. They all came at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's important to catch the theme there. What are you seeing? You're seeing a theme in some biotechs getting some lift today, so keep your eyes on those. Another one getting a lift today, CNTA, that's an $8 stock. That one's not looking too bad. It is getting a little bit of a lift today. I'll keep an eye on it. Just got a little bit of volume there. We'll see if these start to go, right? Keep your eyes on stocks like that. Another dollar one, ABSI. We'll see if that one can keep going, but I'm just naming stocks there that are interesting to kind of keep an eye out for. But definitely the leader there, FRLN in biotechs, up about 44.9% since the open. Love the love out there, guys. That's what it's all about, and appreciate it for real. This is what we look for. And like always, you guys can definitely reach out in the comments and let us know how much you guys appreciate it, but that's what it's about. Hey, gents, any idea all airlines dropped today? Just buy low, sell high? I mean, it could be a little bit of a profit taking after huge runs in the airline. But one thing that I'd keep on mind is always know the industries, right? I talk about this all the time. What is getting hit today? The only sector that's down from the open is industrials. And it's a big pullback. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're broken, but it has pulled back. The only sector from the open that's down. So it could be an airline pullback. It could be an industry-wide a sector-wide pullback in industrials. So what you want to do is you want to see, are other industries struggling in industrials? Looks like railroads are coming back. That's going to help a little bit. But there is some struggle, a lot of pullback there in industrials after being really hot. You can see it here all around, right? And so these are all the industries in industrials, and they're struggling. Railroads probably doing the best there. Farm and heavy made a move to the upside, then pulled back. So that's why you're seeing a little bit more lag in those type of plays right now. Does this mean it's completely broken? No, but we're definitely seeing some pullback there. And you look at the airlines industry, and you can see that right there. A lot of pullback in those names. We'll see what happens to the higher cap names. Love down, DAL down, UAL down. So it could just be a little bit of some pullback action. We'll see if they start to come back. But this looks a little bit more closer towards the short side right now. I might actually short DAL right now. This looks actually pretty good there off the 50s. Kind of might have missed the move already. Oof, I love that pop and drop. Pop, drop, and a hop. All right, let's see if I can get a little move here towards 48.50s, and then it rejects the resistance. Risk would be off the 48.57. Just needed to come back up through this 48 into the 48.50s, and then I can get short. So we're looking for a move that went up, broke down, a move that comes back there, tries to make an attempt to get back above VWAP, rejects, and then goes lower. We'll see if I get that move. And it doesn't mean that I think that airlines are broken, but I do see kind of a daily pullback here available. All right, let's get towards the stock that's out there. We'll see if this heat map starts to turn to red, but look at the indexes. Those keep pushing. What a day, man. What a day. Kicking it to you, Ryan.
I'm still waiting on FRLN. I'm also still watching RXRX and also still waiting on Mevis to go. So we got a couple of things watching here. Took a stab at RXRX and Mevis. We'll see if they materialize. No position in FRLN. Still waiting for that to open. Prime Day. So let's talk about Prime Day. Who got some good stuff on Prime Day? I'll start. I made my first Prime Day order at about 9:45 p.m. last night. Took me all day. I wanted to buy. I had the FOMO. I wanted to buy something. There are all these sales. I finally settled on a putting mat so I can practice putting in my house. And then also some limited distance practice golf balls that are soft so I can take swings in my house. And per the reviews, they also double as cat toys. So I'm really, really excited for my first order. I'm going to be stocking Amazon Prime again. By the way, we talked about a potential Prime Day trade yesterday, Mitch, on Amazon. Remember, we had that run right out of the gate on Amazon yesterday. We called that the easy Prime Day trade if you bought it in the pre-market. Well, guess what? We're actually higher here today. I didn't take this trade. I don't trade Amazon around Prime Day. I'm one of the shoppers waiting for the deals.
Took a decent size hit there on BTU. So not the best trade there on BTU today. So definitely taking a hit there on coal. We'll look to see if it comes back up. It was looking good. Held it a little bit too long there. Just got cut out. We'll see what happens on First Solar.
Love seeing this. Jenny said, I looked but didn't buy anything. Beck said, totally guilty on Prime Day. LOL. Tapas saying, I spent too much on Prime Day. Sad face. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I got me some new cleats, so I can't help myself either.
I was looking for golf shoes, but I didn't see anything I liked, so.
All right, First Solar looking good here. We'll see if that kind of takes off and gets me back into kind of break even or green. It's been a tough one, at least from the start here, but it's been a lot of green in some bigger names. Definitely should have been playing NVIDIA today. That's where I struggle sometimes, team, because I'm just focusing on so many stocks at the open, like from small names to big names to everywhere, trying to cover for you guys. But look at that NVIDIA trade today. Shouldn't miss this type of trade. This is a really good trade. It was kind of obvious today to see NVIDIA kind of do maybe red to green moves to support, recover, and then look at that VWAP bounce right here at 938. It was a really good attempt there to get what? 8 points on the upside move. 8 points. That was a really nice move there in NVIDIA. Talked about a 440 run potential today. It's at 439.29. Not a bad move there in NVIDIA. Meta also talked about how that one could keep going. Talked about how that one could get to 300 yesterday. It was a 5-point move. Now they're towards 306, 307, off a move, a pullback towards 300. Really nice opportunity to get in there. Microsoft pushing higher, Apple pushed higher. It seems like it's been that all-day type of rally. We'll see if it's able to hold. All right, looking at DAL here. I'll let you guys know if I get in. Oof, man, that went quick there.
RX, by the way, still kind of watching that, looking like it's going to continue to roll over here.
God dang it. I was talking a little bit too much there. Missed the entry in DAL. Dude, what a miss. Oh, that's frustrating.
AVRO, by the way, good shout here, Smoke Tuna. That's another one off of the list. Just took out those pre-market highs on AVRO. No position here for me. This one was off the list, though.
Good Lord, man. Sometimes I just got to shut up. Look at this. Look at this reaction. Team, sometimes I just talk at the wrong time. Good Lord, look at that. It was at 48. Literally drew it out. It's down there to 48.20s. Oh, man, that's a little frustrating, man. Now I can't chase it. That's the problem. We'll see what happens. Just talking too much, man. It's just a part of the market, man. Part of doing a little bit of commentary during trading.
Mevis stopped out of Mevis, by the way. Good luck, Dave. I'll look for re-entry on that, but I'm stopped out for the time being.
What a miss there, man. That would have been a nice gain.
RX showing back up on the relative volume scanner, might be curling here. 1134 looks to be that spot. INMD 4466. Wow, big move here in INMD. Jay, your calls must be printing. FRLN open. Highs going to get halted again here at 660. Halted. Fifth halt today on FRLN.
There you go. Another biotech. Halting all around, right? That was a little bit of a frustrating one on DAL. See if it comes back. All right, financial services still up also. Then JPM pulling back right now towards the VWAP. Is this an opportunity? It looks pretty interesting. See if it can continue higher. It's already made a move there towards 149 before. Look to see if it gets to bounce here. SPY just kind of trickling up higher there. Q's doing the same. Tesla not in the green though from the open. That's an interesting one that's struggling here. See if it does get green, but it ain't green right now.
The Ghost asking, how do you feel about the upcoming bank earnings? Well, first of all, let me just say this before I give you my opinion. I'm not trading them because I don't feel confident or good enough about them. I would imagine the bigger banks are not going to have trouble with this earnings print. The smaller banks might. We'll see what they say about what they think about the upcoming rate hikes and all of that. But I think that your bigger banks will be okay. The mid-size and smaller banks, I'm not sure on that.
Nice move now starting up there in First Solar up to 193.20s. I do want to mention that I did get triggered out there in Mumu just recently in the WBD trade. So maybe should have just taken the profits. It they went right after my stop there in the 20s off the support. It could recover and just keep going. Definitely gave up some profits today. Gave up about $5 there, about half of the gains that I had already when I opened the day. So a little frustrated on WBD off that pullback, but hey, it happens sometimes, team. We're just going to let it go and just keep going. We're getting back into the green and getting back towards the upside, and that's what really matters. Now, at least for the month, we're doing a lot better. Now we're starting to get into the green and starting to push on the month.
Bex, great shout here. I know that you were on NVFY earlier prior to this halt. It is in fact halted now. I wasn't able to get to that when you were shouting this before, but great eye. You're on that early here, halted here, NVFY. This is Nova Lifestyle. Not even sure what this stock does.
We'll see if oil names go higher here. Those look interesting on the pullback right now. Taking a look even at Gush to see if it's going to go higher. It's already been a big move in Gush already.
RX, interestingly enough here, Dave, I know you said you wanted to see a 15-minute candle that was green. We finally got one here. Let's see if we can get consecutive green candles here. Looking at the 1-minute chart, we are kind of just trading sideways here. I would imagine there's going to be another move. It's either going to break up or break down. So we'll see. It's either a bear flag or a U bottom.
Yeah.
Says Dave.
One thing to go off of is maybe the hourly support of the 10 a.m. candle, which is 1095. So if there is one level maybe to go off of, maybe it's that one. But, you know, you got to be careful because the move could be wicked. Ooh, it's available in the prop. Oh.
Which?
The RX. So
a short, you mean?
I could do whatever I wanted on it. Because sometimes it doesn't have some of the tickers in the prop. Doesn't have every single one. Bear flag or U bottom on RX still in, Dave? All right, we'll see, man, my friend.
11:30, I think, is the spot that we need to watch from where we're at right now. I think if it takes out 11:30, it can move up.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
Bug log, you must have joined late. We were talking about HCTI from before the market even opened today.
Come on. Back down towards the 1115s there on RX. How many bottom action do we got here? 1, 2, 3. I'd look for one more. Just my personal preference. One more, and then bullish reversal. That's what I'd look for. My outlook there. All right, for solar now up there towards 193.80s. If we can really start pumping through this 194, I can start looking a lot better. And daily highs are right around here. So I'm looking to see if we can get to 195. There's definitely resistance at like kind of 195s. So I got to be careful here. See if it can break through 194, make that move to 195, and maybe just take it all out on First Solar. Do you more often than not pull back from halts? What do you mean? Maybe restate that question. I don't think I understood it there. Genie coming, Mitch. Get them bags ready. We almost there. Preseason NFL. Wayne Hunt, man, you let me know that day, man. Wayne, we got to get a beer that day. When the bags come off, man. All right, there, guys. Smash it up out there, guys. We're going to keep going. It's 10:34. Stick around for all access. That's coming up next. We just got a little down move in that RX, and now trying to get back there towards the 1120s. Will we get a little bit of some turnaround there? We'll see, guys. We'll see. All right, I'll be looking for big orders to step in there, and I haven't seen the big order go through there now, and I'm looking to see a big order go through. And how can you do that? The big part of that is using time and sales. You guys see it here on the right-hand side by using Moo. Of course, I can take a look at that. I can also take a look at some statistical data behind what's going on here, and I think that that's also very important. Of course, you guys check out Moo. I'm gonna throw up the link right now. Of course, you can also use the QR code in the top right corner. You guys want to just go ahead and scan that. I'm throwing up the link here. Definitely smash it up out there, team. We'll see what happens here in Moo. But let's take a look at the analytics and statistics, see what they're pointing to. And you can see right there was some shares that went through there. But I saw like 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares there. Not the best there. Now it's back down towards 11. I was looking for this kind of look towards 1095s and then reversal off of it. Let's see if we attempt this low and then turn around from here. And so I'm also taking a look here at the chart. Let's see if we cut through the lows and then turn around. That's what I'm looking at on RX. Active buy has 2.4, active sell 2.6. So there's actually more sell volume right now than buy volume.
Yep.
Average fill price 12.14. So I take a look at this statistical data all the time. And then you also want to see how it was looking in the pre-market. Pre-market, it actually had pretty also. And the average price there was 1570s. We'll see if we recover. We just went there towards 1085. Now I can start looking to see if we get that recovery action. And I want to stay on the 5-minute chart on this one, not the 1 minute, because I think 1 minutes are going to make me feel way too choppy on a stock like this. Kicking it to you, my friend.
I'm still looking around. I am still kind of watching RX here.
I see you got hit with the grab too. Yeah, I got the grab, man. And grab's actually doing well for me right now. Total up from those free shares that I got from Moo. This is now $11 up. So I can't be mad about that. A free $11. I'll take it, man. Take what you can get, especially small account. That's a full trade for me. I'll take it, man.
By the way, I might be getting hit here today. Dave's Mevis, it stopped me out on that down move. It is right back to 450 here. Man, Dave.
First Solar looking to go ahead and set up some sell here into the 195s. This is just looking too good here. It's at 194.40s already.
Should have held Mevis. You're absolutely right, Dave.
All right, guys, going to try to sell about 20 shares there of First Solar at 194.90s. We'll look to see if I can get up there. It's doing pretty well right now. RX. Let's go back to that one.
FRLN open when as high as 8.
All right, I like that sweeple reversal style look there on RX. I'm already going to try to get a little bit here, but I got to be small at this at first. Okay, in the prop account, I got a little bit there. I grabbed some at 1107 right now at RX. Of course, 80s is kind of the risk right now on this first 100 shares, but I got to be smart. That's about $20 already. And of course, if this pops, it's going to be a big pop. So we'll see what happens there on RX, taking a little bit there at the 1107 area. You guys can see it's on. We'll see what happens here on RX. Let's see if it can really start pushing here. It did what I was looking for: a fake out to the downside, a reversal. So what was I looking for? And I'll show you guys what I was looking for. I was looking for downside actions. What I mean by downside actions, like expansions to the downside, wicks that are trying to like break down support. And so you can see it here: 1, 2, 3. Once I see 3, I look for the 4th. This is that downside attempt one more time. And then I'm going to start trying to risk off of that area because it really shouldn't go through this third low, 1069. So about 1070s could be the major risk right now, and looking for a move back up towards the VWAP. VWAP is 1335. That would not be a bad move. First stop is going to be 12. we'll see if it really starts to push. Caleb says I'm up 30% on Grab. I also made money selling puts. If Grab falls below 3, I sell $3 puts. There you go, Caleb.
Yeah, that's a nice strategy right there. Great job, Caleb.
I love to hear it, man.
Yeah, I got all 5 of my Grab shares. So that was a free $18.42 in the Moomoo account for simply guessing Apple's earnings and opening an account. It gave me nearly $20 now in stock.
Yeah, Glades, I'll talk about that with Moomoo. I can always give him some feedback, and that's what it's all about. Give us the feedback. That's what they want. It's all about transparency with them also. So let us know. We'll definitely get the feedback to Moomoo. You guys out there, smash the like button. We'll see if we actually get this move in RXRX. That's what I'm looking for. A nice little push higher. I'm looking also to see some real volume start coming in this. I want to see like thousands of shares really pick up. Maybe a 10,000 share buyer, something like that, really step up to the plate. That's what I'm looking for. Where is there some sell orders waiting at 1125? So if we see a quick pop to 1125, I'm going to see if those 4,900 and 4,500 shares gets filled, and then I'll look to see if we keep going.
Medvedev up 5-4 in the first set on Eubanks. FRLN looks like it's halted again, and to the upside, 870, just an absolute monster play there on FRLN.
What a move today in the market. It's been a big up day. Now we could start seeing a little bit of some leaking out there. I've seen like like an hour into the open, and now we've driven higher and higher. Meta, definitely a big miss for me too. The really nice plays on Meta today. I hope somebody was able to nail those types of plays, the bigger names, right? Those are looking great there, man. Buglog, you're up 17% on Hyliion. That's what I'm talking about, Bug. Honestly, if for some reason a big fleet would pick that up, it'd be a monster move, man. It'd be a monster move. There's RXRX starting to pick up there, and I just hit first profits on First Solar up there towards 195. We actually got to 195.15s, so I might take it all out, but I just took first profits there in First Solar. Not a bad little move there on FSLR. I'll show you guys that right now. That nice little move there towards 195s. That was one that I talked about in pre-market, how solar could get the lift because energy is getting the lift. Now the 195.15s and continuing to push. Really nice play. I also talked about ENPH. Looked good there off the VWAP. It's right back up there towards the high of the day. Really good outlook there on ENPH. And SEDG is one that I look at for a nice little move. Now that's a little bit higher. We talked about SPWR also on the pullback. Will this one start getting the lift? I might actually look for SPWR to maybe get a little bit of a bounce here. We'll see what happens on that one.
Watch Nightscope here. For those of you trading KSCP, Nightscope spot 130. I think if it snaps that, it goes higher. Smoke Tuna telling us that RXRX MACD going green here. Smoke Tuna, remind us, when the MACD shifts over to green, you're using a 3-minute chart. When that MACD shifts over to green, is that a setup for you for higher? Is there anything else that you're incorporating into that? RXRX pulling back just as I'm talking about it. I'll just shut up now.
Come on, Ryan.
I know. I'm ruining it for everybody.
I got you guys here, and I'll show you exactly what he looks at, right? And that's what it's all about here. I got you. So here's you got your MACD on the bottom, and you're going to look for the crossover, right? You're going to look for that darker blue line to cross the trigger right here on that light blue line. And we got really good touch there. Now we want to see this really kind of cross over on that. And this is the 3-minute outlook too. And what do you see here? 1 bottoming, 2 bottoming, 3 bottoming. I'm looking for this bottoming to hold here, this kind of 1080, 1070 area. If that doesn't hold, we could be right back towards 1023s. So always keeping that in mind, because that's a pretty quick washout there to 1023s. We'll see what happens if this turns back into a green candle. I want to see this turn into a green candle.
Yeah, this needs buying volume in a hurry here. This is likely going to snap lower. There it goes. There's your snap lower through that 1068 on RX.
Action there.
Bro,
We'll see if we recover now, if it's a wick, right? And so a lot of times we get these wicks. So I'm going to look to see if it's a wick here, back to the upside. See what happens.
Dave stopping out there at 1060.
That happens.
That happens. I'm sorry, my man.
It's one you got to be careful with, man. That's the truth. SPY pulling back now, probably, and that's another thing that I've been talking about. We've been strong all day, so we could start seeing a little bit of some pullback. This trend needs to hold here, and I would look for the trend to kind of hold on the SPY. It could pull back a little bit there, hold around 446.80s, 446.75s, get back up there towards 448s. This is still looking good right now. The Qs, same thing. I'd look for the trend to kind of hold. Trend on the pullbacks, use those wicks, draw my trend, look for that to hold. That's a VWAP pullback to 373. As long as that holds, we're still in kind of the bullish terms here. We'll look to see if we keep going to the upside. FSLR, I'm looking for another takeout of 195, going to 196, then take it all out there.
Alexa asking, what are your thoughts on PanW? PanW, for me, the absolute darling in the cybersecurity field. This one is a buy and hold. Don't necessarily trade it. I don't have an angle on the cybersecurity subset or sector, if you will. I do know that that's best in class. That would be a long-term hold for me. I wish I had a position, but I don't.
Yeah, I kind of tried to alert a lot of traders through the 200 run. So now it's kind of like, where do we go to after that, right? The 200 run was a really nice move. I talked about that on Start Swing Trade. So if you're not watching Start Swing Trade, maybe take a look at that show. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern every single day. You guys check it out. We'll see what happens there on PanW now. We broke 200. We made a move to 250. So maybe 225. Logical pullback area now. It doesn't mean that it's completely broken, but it could pull back towards the 50-day moving average around 226.63. That seems to make sense here for me. A little bit of a pullback action, and then I'll look to see the lift. Also take a look at the other names in the space. Zscaler pulling back today. CrowdStrike pulling back today. If CrowdStrike can maybe catch this little bid on the pullback here and then maybe go higher, maybe you see PanW stay strong. But other than that, that is a little bit of a pullback break. First stop on PanW, I think on support is the next stop here, which is around the 238.50s. That's just from what I see. All right, let's get back to the charts out there. What are you guys seeing out there?
Just watching FRLN. Rebought Mevis because I like pain.
No, you can't be stealing Zunaid's line there. I won't allow it.
Does he say that?
Yeah, he says that.
Oh, damn.
Where's Zunaid?
Well, we got to honor Zunaid in some way, so I'll start using his one-liners then. When I start talking about adding flaming Cheetos to my butter chicken, then you guys can get worried.
There you guys know it. Our Trader Joe fan out there.
Is there a better thing to put in your butter chicken than that? I don't know. I think that's really
naan.
Too soon.
Naan is the better thing to put in the butter chicken.
Wait, with your rice, or like that's how you eat it, naan and butter chicken?
No, I mean I put the rice on the plate, the butter chicken on top of it, but you can dip the naan into the butter chicken.
Oh, so like your own cute little burrito.
Yeah, I don't really make a burrito out of it though. It just kind of sits on the plate. Good to see you though, Zunaid.
Y'all as well. I was in the back just listening, having fun.
Look who's there, guys.
I hope you make money though instead of having pain.
Look, Rad said it. You're not fired, Z. No,
I wasn't fired. No. I get unfired for 10 minutes when I do all access. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
HR is like, nah, buddy, you're good.
Nah, you're good, right? They send you an email, they get you back on, and then they send you the real email. Now you're back off.
They're like, hey, man, we revoked
It was good having you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always good having you, Zunaid. It's good to see you over here,
it.
my friend. Hope everything's good with you. And
Yes,
everyone
sir,
should
yes,
keep up
sir.
with definitely Zunaid. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, definitely give him a follow. Give him a shout out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. The only trade that I was in was Facebook. That was a nice little bounce off of
Nice.
300. I mean, that's a psychological number. That's what we talk about all the time. So that nice bounce off of 300, and then it just has continued to go. I'm interested to see if it rejects 310. That's actually where I'm looking to go short at 309.90. But we'll see if it gets up there.
All right, gonna look to see if we can keep going up there towards FSLR, towards 195.50s. Want that one to keep just riding higher. We'll find out.
RX new lows.
The battle's on, guys.
I'm with you on that one, Dave. Was definitely in that one a little too early.
No worries, I'm in RX way damn too early. We'll see what happens, guys.
Still green on the day, despite a couple of these missteps.
Yep.
By the way, for anyone who took Hood way back when, that's a nice little $2 move over $10. I don't know how high it goes. I got completely exited in my position yesterday when we hit like 1190s or something. So I'm completely out of it, but just cracked 12 today.
Yeah, Dave, I hate stopping out on it's funny that you mentioned that. I hate stopping on low of day as well. So when I stop out and the stock bounces and I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn it. And then it goes lower and I'm like, yes. I know exactly how that feeling goes. Been there more times than I can count.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, guys. BAL rejecting again here. Will we see that little pullback right back below? It did hit the 48.50s. It actually got above the VWAP for a little while. Actually looks good there for a short there for me. All right, I'm going to short here off 54s. So just shorting there on DAL.
Dave saying, I literally sold at the low to the penny in some cases. Dave, me too. And it sucks because like your cheeks get that like burning feeling, like that tingling feeling. You're all mad. It affects other trades. It's just
how it goes sometimes.
It's how it goes. And the ability to control your feelings while trading. It's important. It's how it goes.
I think the only thing that can be worse than that is selling lows at the low, and then you're just full on tilted at that point.
Getting the push right now on DAL might get squeezed out there.
Yeah, Rivian is popping to the upside. It did break the resistance area of about 24.39. For me, I've got an alert set at 25.50. It's obviously lagging, quote unquote, in compared to the market, in comparison to tickers like Hood, Carvana, etc.
MGOL's popping here, folks.
MGML
in mode keeps going. Man, this was an all-day move on in mode. Holy cow!
Yeah, that was a nice one there. Nice move.
I was actually thinking about playing this yesterday too. Just grabbing a little bit, and it's like, that sucks.
First solar, definitely my best play of the day. Didn't do well on that opening play there. Of course, BTU and first solar, trying to just grind higher. So at least that's been the best position, at least for me today.
Who asked about Google? Raz did. For me, I'm surprised it's still not over 120. That's where I've got like a little trend line drawn for it on Google, in case it does try to move to the upside. I think if it goes above 120, then you can possibly pay a visit to about 122.50s or so. But I'm surprised that it hasn't cracked 120s yet.
By the way, Nightscope did move through that 130 here, 134 highs. It looks like 133 highs on Nightscope.
Stopped out there on DAL. DAL now starting to go to the upside, so we could see that come right back into play. Now it's starting to push there. Could flip on the position, but nah, I've given up a little bit too much today already. So just going to stick to the positions I have now for the rest of the day. All right, what's going on out there, team?
Well,
How we
what's
doing?
going on is Zunaid has a new nickname, the Indian Drake.
The Indian Drake? Why am I the Indian Drake?
I don't
mean,
know.
not that I mind, but you know.
I was going to say, isn't he like a trendy
Yeah.
rapper right now? I mean, that's
I was gonna say haircut.
Not the
One, I
weekend.
haven't gotten a haircut. Two, my haircut doesn't even look like his.
Nightscope 35, new highs.
We are scheduled to get a haircut. So for tomorrow's AI webinar, we'll be fresh, Mitch. We will be fresh.
That's what I love to hear, baby.
Well, my haircut's not till next week, so I'm going to have to be fresh next week.
We shall trade off.
Yeah, AI tomorrow, guys. Don't miss that. Like always, we always got some special for you guys. We'll have a Benzinga's virtual AI event tomorrow.
That should be fun, actually.
Don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Qualcomm will be there, and we got a lot of other companies that can give you guys a great opportunity to definitely catch this run in AI. Is it over? It seems like it's not today, that's for sure. Stocks keep ripping, and the Goldilocks scenario out there, definitely out there.
Yeah, one of the companies that we're interviewing, let me just make sure I get the exact percentage. Their stock kind of moved up today, went from about 426 to about 650. So definitely some good stuff to talk about with live person tomorrow.
Qs have pulled back to that trend line, right? I've talked about that trend line. Would we hold it? Now I'm looking for it to hold like 373s and just come right back up. So I'd look for the Qs to kind of hold that, get the lift right back up.
MGOL for more here to the highs. Nightscope 136.
Nightscope. Ever happened to GooG?
Oh, God, here we go.
Got destroyed, man. I should have looked at a short for that today. That was a nice little short from 540s down to 440s.
More people watch that clip you shared with us, and they're like, sell this bitch.
GooG, Invader Zim style. All right, how we doing out there, team? It's good to see you guys out there.
One ticker to kind of keep an eye on, Baba. If it cracks 95, currently trading at 93, 92. If it cracks 95, see if it can. Oh, I forgot my shared my charts. Good memories.
I got you.
If it appreciate it. If it cracks 95, see if it can go ahead and play tag your it with 100. That could be a nice, interesting play, especially with the Ant Group investment stuff going on, this, that, and the other. By the way, on Facebook, I wanted to go short at 310. Unfortunately, it said, nah, I'm going to stop at 309. Made a $1.50 plus move to the downside. If you're looking to get into this one, keep an eye on the VWAP, which currently for me on the 15-minute is at 305.04, as we're about 2 minutes away from all access.
No, I agree with you. In the chat, Steve Wise talking about the 9 EMA on Delta for like the daily, and I do agree. It hasn't really broken trend, so I jumped in it a little bit too early and paid the price for it. So don't worry about that, Steve. If you get the goods, keep the goods, my friend. Sometimes I'm going to get them wrong, even though I gave you the outlook there of the 9 EMA, right? Well, hey, you use it, my friend. It's still working pretty well. And what I think the 9 EMA does really well in the daily, what it's about is just seeing the trend hold, right? If the trend holds, that's a good way of looking to see if trend is holding. Some people use the simple moving average, the 10 or the 20 for that outlook. I like the exponential moving average, the 9.
On Apple's downturn before we head out here, I don't really have much except keeping an eye on this level, as you had the bottom, the low of the day there. You also had a little bit of resistance there. Interested to see if that continues to hold on to support or not. So I'd say right around this 189.50 area. See if it has buyer step in. If not, I'm not quite sure how you would go ahead and play this. I'd leave it alone.
All right, it's about to be 11. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up, team. It's been a battle. Took some profits in Mumu today, at least, and continued the battle. We'll see if I go ahead and sell the Grab and the FCell shares. Eventually just going to sell those, but FCell is doing really well today. I've gotten already like $2 on that, and Grab continues to go higher. So we'll see what happens to those names. And I'll keep an eye on that RXRX. We'll see if it goes higher later in the day. Did hold around the hourly pullback of 1023s. I'll look to see if that gets higher now and really starts to push. I'm just going to risk about $1 on it. We'll see what happens. If it does take the lift, it'll be a nice little 3-1. So it's still in my realms. We'll see what happens there. All right, that's going to do it for us. Like always, you guys can check out Mumu. I'm going to throw up the link one last time. It's been a okay day. It hasn't been the worst day for me. FSLR being the best position, but in the red right now. Ryan, your wrap up here. What do you got?
Yeah, rough day for me in terms of the day trading. I'm actually green on the day, but that's because my swings are keeping me afloat. That tells me that I've accurately managed my risk today, as opposed to getting too much or being too sloppy or being too aggressive. So I'm going to try to not let the bad day trading morning ruin the rest of my day here. We'll be looking to get back at this again here tomorrow, but thankfully swings holding up. Definitely want to see where the market closes today, and we'll be right back at this again tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, swings out there. I got Deer and I got BJ, and those are still working for me. So I'm going to continue to stay in those. If you guys want to catch a little bit more talk on that, you guys can catch that, of course, on Start Swing Trade later today, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys there. And now it's time for my man Zune to take over. Always have a good one. And I'll see how fresh that cut is tomorrow.
I might have to. I know you outdid me with the tie. I might have to bring the tie just.
We're gonna have another dress battle.
You beat me last time, so I might, I might have to do something. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey,
we'll see
I love to hear it, man. Definitely, you guys don't miss the AI event tomorrow. You want to be there.
All right, appreciate you. And chat, what's going on? I've missed you and I'm so happy to hang out with you today. But it's not just us. We're going to have a lovely interview because we know, that we love to have executives come on the show so that we can talk about what's going on with their company. Not just that, we want to make sure we interact with you in the chat as well to get your questions answered. Today, we've got a great interview with Sunday Seth, who is the CEO and chairman of the board for Actinium Pharmaceuticals, which the ticker on the NYSE is ATNM. All access starts right now. Sandesh, how's it going?
Good, Janet. How are you?
I'm doing great. I like the suit that you had on earlier. I was like, man, he's coming out full swinging with the vibe and everything.
Yeah, I see.
It got a little hot.
It did. Before I got in the hot seat, I thought, let me get the jacket on.
I wish I had those tough questions for you, but look, I appreciate you hopping on. I know there's a lot going on with your company. We'll get to the nitty gritty here in a moment. But before we start, if you could just kind of explain it to me like I'm 5, what is it that your company does?
Sure, absolutely. What we do, Janet, is we take radiation and we nuke cancer. We take these radioactive isotopes, which effectively are molecular nuclear bombs, and we couple them to missiles. So think about it as a missile warhead approach. The radiation is the warhead, and antibodies or other targeting agents are the missiles. We inject them into cancer patients, and we go after, because the technology is so effective, we start with the sickest of the sick cancer patients who typically die in 2 or 3 months. And, as we go along the show, you'll see from our data that the promise of, using molecular surgery, using radiation at the atomic and molecular level with our technology is working out very well.
You talked about the warheads, and that's kind of going to be my next question here, talking about the AWE, the antibody warhead enabling platform. What is that? How does it work? Is it what you kind of just mentioned? Is there more to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there is more to it. But in its essence, we take a targeting agent, whether it's an antibody or a peptide or, a nanobody, and we work with all of them. The programs we have in the clinic are antibody-based. And depending on the antibody, you then couple the radiation to the antibody. So you got to link it up. With our lead program, you don't need anything because the isotope we use is iodine. It links directly to the antibody. So you could do a chemical reaction and it links to the antibody. With the case of the actinium isotope, you have to get a little bit fancier. You need a linker, and then you need something to hold the actinium. We call it a cage, and so you need a chelator to hold it inside. And then once it gets close to the cell, it ejects from there and it destroys the DNA and prevents the cancer cell from growing or replicating. It kills it.
Now let's talk about in terms of the pipeline. Right. Can you give us a rundown of where this drug currently is and if it's accessible or when it can be to the common man?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So our pipeline, has several candidates across phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of development and preclinical. In terms of the lead product candidate, which effectively, in acute myeloid leukemia, elderly patients that die in about 3 months, what this drug does is enable them to go in for a life-saving procedure called a bone marrow transplant. And that's the only way an AML patient can achieve a cure. We'll talk more about the program and the results of that, which were really great. It enables patients to access a bone marrow transplant. Everybody accesses it, and because the disease is so deadly, what we've shown is we're able to significantly extend survival and even cure a percentage of the patients that were on the trial. So very excited. We look forward to filing a BLA towards the end of the year and then potentially assuming an approval. Commercializing the drug in the best of breed cancer centers, so maybe 50, 70 of these that offer the bulk of bone marrow transplants next year.
Now, I know when I was doing the research and the research team themselves, we were looking at the blood and marrow transplant where I think it was cut the median time by roughly half. Is that what you're kind of referring to in regards to?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are two things, right? Currently, these patients can't get a transplant. Why? Because in order to get a transplant, you have to kill the diseased bone marrow and then get a transplant. To kill the diseased bone marrow, you need chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is non-targeted. It causes a lot of side effects and it can kill the patient. And these are people above 55. They've had several courses of therapy. Drugs don't work on them. They're beat up from the prior drugs and they can't get a transplant. What we do is very quickly, in about half the time that if theoretically the chemo could take, 1 or 2 months to take hold, it usually doesn't, but if it did, it would take 1 or 2 months. For us, we can get a patient into transplant in less than half the time, and everybody engrafts. And then over time, what we've shown is we hit our primary endpoint, and we've shown, very high power in that trial and a very high statistically significant primary endpoint result, which is durable complete remission and an extension of survival for those patients.
Now, your company has gone from research to commercialization, right? What's kind of like the process been like, especially when you do get full FDA approval, which I'm sure you're hoping for? What does that look like then for your company if you go ahead and achieve that?
Absolutely. So recall we have other programs as well, right? We have a therapeutics program that's in phase 2 and that can hopefully, go into advanced development phase 3. Again, in the same patient population. The hope for us as we move along in about 3 to 5 years, assuming both drugs get approved, we will change the outcome of this disease and we will be able to provide meaningful extension of survival and cures for patients that die in about 2 to 3 months. There's no other company in acute myeloid leukemia, and there are over 100 companies focusing on this disease, over 100 programs that can make that claim, that has data that can support that claim, right? Because anyone can make a claim, but we have data and we've got recognition of the data. As far as the other programs, very exciting. We have earlier stage programs. We have what we call a low dose version of the first program, the IMAB-B. So IMAB ACT program for CAR-T and gene therapy, which are cellular therapies like bone marrow transplant, like hemopoietic stem cell transplant. Again, same value proposition, improved access, improved outcomes for these patients because we take away the need for chemo. And these patients get our drug, which is very safe. It's very targeted without any show-stopping side effects, and they can get the cellular therapy, which then can take hold and provide and work, and sort of they can benefit from the promise of cellular therapy. We also have collaborations because our R&D program, our R&D, process and our R&D capabilities are very well recognized. We have partnerships with Astellas, with LG Chem of AO Life Sciences, and with Epicentric.
Now, something that caught my attention was when you had, sorry, I got a little feedback, but you mentioned that your patients, you kind of come in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left to go. They're possibly going to pass away 2 to 3 months. Does your treatment kind of slow down that process, or are you reversing what's happening so that they can live that much longer? Or is it just kind of halting that? Like, what exactly is the process or the game plan once you inject these drugs? Is it slowing it down, or is it completely reversing it?
Yeah. So in the case of the first drug, right, the bone marrow is the factory that allows us to live, right? It produces blood cells, white immune cells, all that kind of stuff. These patients have a diseased bone marrow where it's producing more cancer cells than normal cells. We destroy that, they get a transplant, right? Over time, for some, the disease comes back, for some, it doesn't. But we kill the disease, we kill the disease cells. The second drug, what it does is it can either kill it all, so it completely stops the disease, or it can slow it down, depending on many variables, right? Because there may be mutations. So we do both. Ultimately, what matters is we're also safe. Our patients can get our drug, and they can go to the mall the next day. With chemo, you have vomiting, hair loss, diarrhea. We don't have those side effects. We don't have sepsis with the lead drug. So they even feel better. The quality of life for these patients, even if they don't live longer, and a lot of them double, triple, and even cures, but even the ones that don't live longer, that quality of life at the end, which is horrible, we managed to make it better.
Got it. Appreciate your insight on that. We've talked about so many different things. We've talked about the past, the present, what to look out for in the future as well. Is there anything that you kind of wanted to discuss with the audience that I didn't get a chance to bring up? Any topics at hand? The floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, a tremendous future this year and next year and in the subsequent years. We have a strong balance sheet, unlike, I would say 75% of biotech right now. We have over 2 years of cash. We can get to approval. We can launch this drug, right? We have a collaboration with the NCI. The government is going to fund our advanced development for the second program, which will spare 50 to 75 million over the next 3 years on the balance sheet. And we have all the rights to that program. So very good financial position, clear unmet medical need for the first and second product, a value proposition for providing cures to one of the deadliest blood cancers. I think, we have a great story compared to most of biotech today, which is in a historical downturn. And we are one of the few companies that is actually great data, good balance sheet, great recognition from the medical societies. We've been at 4 major medical conferences globally here in Europe. We were recently at the Nuclear Medicine Conference. We got best of show. So, I think it's worth a look.
I appreciate that. And I do want to get one question. I'm not familiar with this one, but if I can ask, are you in discussions with the NCCN?
So NCCN discussions happen post-approval, and very much we would expect to be in the NCCN guidelines for both Iomab and Actimab.
Awesome. Appreciate that for the insight on that one. Thank you so much. That is Sandesh Seth, who is the CEO and chairman of the board for Actinium Pharmaceuticals. Ticker is ATNM. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Ed, for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely. You have a lovely day. And chat, as always, we appreciate you for hanging out, asking your questions. Of course, I'll do my best to get to a lot of them, but hopefully you got some insights from the CEO himself. And if you want, always please do your own due diligence to see if this stock is worth your hard-earned money, and investing in having strong financials is obviously so crucial for when you have a company like this one, because it's not cheap for the R&D, for the implementation, to go through the studies, the phases, and everything else. But we appreciate you for hanging out for All Access.